Hello, hello, how are you? This is Jilly Bling, and this is project number 4 of 5 using Cheerful Daisies. So, when you look at this card, I love it. Bottom line, I love it, but it's a little bit wild, a little bit crazy in the colors, but somehow I'm drawn to it, and I just love it. It's kind of 3D, and it's using watercolor paper and watercoloring, and each project will definitely be different. The colors will be different. So, you ready to give this a try? Isn't it pretty? And that big bow on it, that I think the bow grounds everything. And at first I was going to have the hello kind of hanging from here, but I like how it is right there. So we'll be using Cheerful Daisies bundle. Happy labels, mostly for the hello, but there's some really great words in here. And of course the Cheerful Daisy dies. Okay, so let's just get in and get started. Today is new catalog day. I can show you inside the new catalog. It's okay today. So on page 126 is the watercolor paper, fluid 5x7 watercolor, and it is $9 for 10 sheets. So we'll be using some of that today. And has a double bow on it, so let's make the double bow. So this is a series of 5, where if you buy the bundle through me, you could buy it today. I would love to send you the 5 card kits. So this is today's. Oh, I've got the other ones right here. Let me show you. This was the first one. Look at this. This is the second one. Isn't that just pretty? I love the colors. Isn't that nice? And then this one in Moody Mauve and Bubble Bath. And now today's. And there will be one more. It won't be quite as busy and, not that it's difficult, but advanced. I'll say advanced as this one and the trifold one. But if you're interested, use this host code to buy your bundle, and about a week after, I think it's like May 7th or 8th, if you order by May 7th or 8th, about a week later I'll send you the card kits in the mail. There's a double bow. Okay, we're done with ribbon, and we will be texturing. This has a little bit of texture on the background. Okay, so let's just start with the paper base, and then we'll do the watercoloring, because this is kind of simple, just vanilla. I'm sorry, white, basic white. I'm just waking up. I was so excited about this. I was sleeping and I kept thinking, today is the day to do that crazy watercolor card. I just kept thinking about it. I like this one. Okay, base. This goes on the inside. The outside of the card is just white. I was thinking about putting the black layer, which is fine, but I think having it all white on the front, it brings your attention to the bow and the bright colors and the accents. And then 2 white papers, and I'll put all the paper cut sizes on my blog once I finish the 5th project, which should be later today or tomorrow. Tony's going on a bus trip, so it just might be later today. So we'll texture the top paper in just a minute. And these papers are for, oh, I know, we'll do that in a minute too. Basic Pearls. I wanted to use these that are included in the bundle, Adhesive Back Solid Gems. And aren't those fun colors? But it didn't work. I think the iridescent pearls work best. Just because there's so much color going on, if I used the other ones, they would just get lost. Okay, let's do the watercoloring. So, watercoloring, there's no wrong. And when you look at the sample, do you like the softer colors or do you like them really vibrant? And also, when you look at this middle layer of this little daisy right here. See at the bottom how it has a lot of Daffodil Delight, and then up at the top it's moving to bubblegum? Or this one, it has kind of like a petal pink, and then it moves to freesia. There's a lot of different colors, and even right there, it's absent a little bit of color, but it still looks good. And that's a really strong color in, I think that's grape. And then the leaves also. See how there's a darker color underneath, it's a lighter color? And all this will make sense in just a minute. There's a lighter color here and a darker underneath. In just a minute, that'll all make sense. So, let me make a little bit of room for watercoloring. So on this paper, we might need that. Oh, and then this here, I needed a little something for the inside. So you might, you have to think about that too. Okay. Watercolor paper is not perfectly white, which is fine, because when you apply color, you can't tell. And even if it was kind of a wintry white, it's still fine against the white, even though they're slightly different colors. Okay. And it's early morning. I've only had one sip of coffee. So, here are the colors. You're like, what are those? And you could use any color you have. So I'll lay these down on the side so you could tell what colors. And like I said, any color that you have is good. So these are for leaves, green colors, kind of the yellow warmer tones, and the cooler tones. So I have Bubble Bath, Fresh Freesia, Gorgeous Grape, Petal Pink, Daffodil Delight, Pumpkin Pie, Soft Seafoam, Lost Lagoon, and Pretty Peacock. But any colors that you do, that you have at home, they're just fine for this project. So I'm going to leave them laying on their sides so at least I know what color they are. And I have a little window sheet that I started yesterday. And it's kind of a mess, but it needs a little bit of a refreshing. So I have them in the same order. So I need a little bit more Bubble Bath. And I'll just rinse this off later. A little bit of Fresh Freesia. Am I doing this right? I think I have two freesias. I have two freesias. That's okay. Once I put them onto the paper, I'll know what color they are. And grape. Definitely need more petal pink. So if ever you're scared about watercoloring, and if you know how I am, I like to have everything has to be controlled. But if you do it this way, it's easy to control the watercoloring. And we're not painting flowers and landscapes. People that could do that, those artists, they amaze me. Going from nothing to making that, I'm in awe of how they do that. Okay, the Soft Seafoam, I'm going to be a little bit heavy on that. Lost Lagoon. And Pretty Peacock. So when we're doing the watercoloring, keep in mind you want your colors to be, you want difference in the colors on the paper. Because when you go to cut out your flower, if you had everything orange, a mix of orange, daffodil, and petal, it would all be like one pretty, but one tone. We want to have different tones. See on this one, or here, this one here, how it's a lot of or pumpkin pie. and then it's going a little bit closer to daffodil. And that also depends on the placement of the dies. Okay, so we ready? I'm ready. Spritzers. So this is a spritzer, a water spritzer, and they're only $4. You get 2 of them for $4. They're in the catalog. I could show you, but it's easy to find. And we're going to spritz the paper. And I could take my aqua painter and just apply color that way, but see how I'm not getting all that much on? That's more for spreading. This will really, and let's just start with half of it at this point. And we'll do the other half in just a minute. Then, this one I pulled it out. I didn't really try it. Okay, colors everywhere. So then I'm going to take some of the bubble bath and just do it over here. Boy, that picks up a lot of color, that brush. I might need more bubble bath. When I was doing the samples, I was using the smaller brush, but I was having a hard time getting the water out of the brush. So I thought, well, let me try to this big one, but that really. Bo was on the couch snoring. Oh no, let me try the other one. This one is doing plenty of water. And give it a squeeze to get the water going. Okay, let's go into the freesia. Maybe the bigger one is better. What's nice is it dries, well, this one's working pretty good. It dries smoother than how it goes on. Especially if you have the watercolor wash all over it. Still think we need more bubble bath though. Okay, and I'm going to do some darker freesia. Ooh, isn't that pretty? And if you can, get to the corners. Oh, that's right, I had double freesia. Okay, and then see how you could tell what color it is once you kind of touch into it. Ooh. I think I need to do my spritzer again. And what's nice about watercolor paper is it's very forgiving. So if it's like, oh, it's too strong of a line right there, you could go over it a few times. Spritzer. See, this is controlled chaos. Okay, maybe a little more. And then let's go into the orange colors. Clear that out. Giving it a squeeze, trying to get it cleared out. This one just doesn't squeeze too much water. Okay, let's go into, let's petal pink. And see how my areas, they're kind of blended together, but they're still separate? Just because when I'm cutting out maybe a top layer of the medium-sized daisy, I want it to have a definite color. I'm fine if it kind of drifts into a different color, but if I were putting all the oranges all over, it would just become one constant color. A pumpkin. I have to save room for the leaves. Okay. And now for the leaves. I might need a little bit more because I didn't save myself much room for the leaves. So soft seafoam. And I think that is Lost Lagoon. Isn't that kind of fun? Okay, isn't that really fun? And that's Pretty Peacock. Everyone can have these colors today. I didn't save myself much room for the leaves color. Leaves. Okay, this is going to dry. And I'm going to pull out that little extra paper. So maybe I could do some more leaves. I think I got carried away on the flower color, which is good. It'll be good for the flowers. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Remedy that. Oh, much happier. So, note. I have a note, which is the aqua painters, which are great. It comes like in a multi-pack, but when you go to twist them to open it, it twists backwards. And I say that because Tony and I almost ruined one in the garage with pliers trying to get it open. You're like, what are you talking about? I'll show you. In just a minute. I'm watercoloring. I'm being an artist. I need more of all the colors. Soft seafoam. I think I'm going to need a new paper. Kind of puddling. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay, that's good. We're watercolored. Time to take jammies, clean it up. So, before you put the lid on your aqua painters, or blender pens, or whatever you're using, if possible, try to get it cleared out before you put the lid on. Because using it a next time, and if you're going into just a little bit of daffodil, and if you had this green or purple in here, see this one, I'm just not getting much water out. Maybe it's not my favorite anymore. Okay, so the painters, usually to open it, I would turn it counterclockwise, and to tighten it, I would turn it, this one to loosen it, counterclockwise, to tighten it, clockwise. This one is opposite. To loosen it, no, it has to go clockwise. Anyhow, just if you're aware that they open opposite of what we've all been told, you'll be fine. Okay, we're done with watercoloring. So I'm going to just let these dry a little bit. If I was impatient, I could start cutting it right now, even though it's wet. But I have other things to do. I could let them dry just a little. And I'll just run this under the kitchen sink. and get that cleared off. Okay, so we have all this color. Thank you, reinkers. Thank you. And I'll just let this dry. And I'm going to get a new paper, because that kind of drives me crazy. Ooh, it soaked through. Back to being all cleaned up. Okay, let's work on the front of the card. So that is right here. We'll do the bling at the end. This is for 3 of these little sprigs, which is this one right here. Have those pieces ready. Have a bow. This is for the little tag. We could do that. So the little tag just says hello, and that's hand cut. That is done in Memento Black. And this stamp set is new to the catalog, but it's a lot of fun. It's got really great words in it, happy labels, and it coordinates or bundles with a punch that you can do tags. I should know these things. Happy labels. It's so nice to show you the catalog. Happy labels, page 50. So here it is, page 50, coordinates with Happy Labels Pick-a-Punch. Page 147. So it coordinates with this punch, so you could decide whatever end of your label you'd like. But it has great words. So on this card I used hello, and I just wanted to hug you. I've said that a few times lately. So that will be the inside. Okay, Happy Labels right here is just a tiny little hello. And you can tell, just a little scrap paper, that's all it takes. If I do it crooked, that's okay. I did it straight. When does that happen? And if I'm thinking about it, I could do the card inside, which is right here. I just want to hug you. Some people are huggers, other people aren't, which is fine. Look how nice that stamps. And then nothing else on the inside other than a swoosh of color and the swoosh of color here. We could do that with a pool party. I wish I had my big stamp pad. I just have a little spot, but that's okay. Let's finish this. Hello. Hello. So right in the middle. Okay, that's done. Elements are getting done. Now swoosh of color at the bottom. A mini blending brush. I love these little ones. I'm going to start in the middle because I'll put a flower there. And sometimes it's ugly when I touch down. Not this time. This is a good day. We're going on vacation here in a few weeks, and I have so much to get done. Because if I think about it, we're not coming back until the 28th, and I like to have the monthly projects posted by the 1st. And you know, when you come back from vacation, you're not going to, ooh, I'll do the laundry and put the luggage away later. I have to do the projects. You're kind of not in that mode. So I should somehow get busy now. Then I have a swap to do. Lots of fun. So when you're sponging the front, purposely try to get the soft stretch of your blending brush out to the edges of the paper. Just because the bouquet that we're making is kind of big, and if you did it just in the center, it would be covered all by the flowers. So I'm trying to drop it down and a little bit closer to the edges. This, I think the whole bouquet should have dropped down a bit, but you know how, hindsight, you know exactly what to do. I didn't know. Yeah, getting a little bit ugly in here. Heavy spots, but they'll be covered by a flower. It's okay. This is like a workout. Pushing real hard, vigorously swooshing it. Okay, I think we're getting there. Okay. Now maybe a little more. How about a little coffee? A big drink of coffee. So we purposely go to the local coffee kiosk, Dutch Brothers, and get coffee or latte or just some drink that we like, and then get it in a large, and I save half of it for the next morning, like right now. And when I go to bed, I know it's going to be a good day because we're going to wake up and have extra stuff to put into our coffee in the morning. So yesterday, Tony got me a 911, which has 6 shots of espresso. Got through half of it, but today is a good day because we get to supplement our coffee. Okay, I think that's enough. Or my arm says that's enough. How are these doing? It's getting there. It's still kind of soft, and I can feel the wet on it. Dry here. Dry here. Soft Seafoam. Lost Lagoon. Pretty Peacock. Uh-oh. That's because this was sitting on top of it. Well, I'll have to avoid that. But isn't it pretty? We can make flowers out of this. And if you're like, I think I'm catching on to what you're doing here, it is so much fun. You'll see. Okay, stems. Stems in Memento. Stems down lower than right there. That was too high, but I didn't know. That's the sample. That's the first one. So I want the bottom stem lowest. Isn't that nice? I love how crisp it stamps. And this one, just a little bit off. Keeping in mind that once the big flower goes there, I'll probably mostly just be seeing the bottom. And then there's going to be the big bow there. So the bottom ends of the stem are most important, I think. And you could do more than 3 if you want. Okay, we're on fire. Fireball. Embossing folder. time-worn embossing folder. I love this embossing folder. It's like, what are all these pieces? I know what they are. So when you put your paper into the embossing folder, if it's directional, as in if it's not a random pattern, I like to use this line right here to line up my paper, if possible. Sometimes it's just too big or it just doesn't work, but it's convenient. I don't know if they did that on purpose. They probably did that on purpose. Okay, I'm going to run this through. Okay, so let's get to building this. This goes on top, and that could just be put on now with dimensionals. That's inside. This is, I think we could start putting the card together. Kind of. Dimensionals. Okay, wasn't the watercoloring fun? Don't you want to do like another sheet of that? Fluid watercolor. Okay, so here's the top. Okay, we're just missing flowers. And the inside is ready. And we'll have to use lots of glue dots once again. I just ordered more Stamp and Seal refills. Isn't that handsome? Love the black border. I never did refill the glue from the last video. Remember how I kept running out? Look at that. Okay, let's do flowers. Let me close up my glue. So the flowers are, once again, going to be 3 layers. With this die set, there is, and we're going to use that. These outlined flowers are going to be just in plain white. And that kind of lightens the color load, and also creates separation from the pool party blending brush background to the colorful flowers. Without this white layer on, the 3rd layer down, it's just a sea of happy rainbow color. That white layer right here really does make a difference. So I'm going to do those 3. So here they are, 3 different sizes, and now we're going to have some fun. So for the other 2 layers, which is the medium layer and the detailed layer, it's time to choose what colors. And you don't know how long I sat here thinking, okay, what's my plan? I have to have a plan. What am I doing here? And finally it's like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. So this big flower, let's put it in these colors. If you put it all on at one time, that's fine. But I'm a little bit particular. I guess I want this undercolor to be kind of pink tones. But look at all the colors in the pink. Okay, and then the next layer, how about right here, bright orange. And there might be another way to do this, or if you're not needing to control every little bit, there's other ways you could do it. Then this one, how about right there into the purple tones? Okay, so we have our three flowers, and now we need the leaves. So how about the leaves? I'll get a little bit of that blue. Okay, leaf. And how about some mid-tone leaves? I could feel that this watercolor paper is still a little bit wet, but that's okay. Okay, so for this, we have colors. And you could run it through all at once, or I'll probably run it through separately. Like first this one, then that one. That's another leaf. Then over here we have this leaf that I'm going to do in, I'm going to try to preserve it. Oh, I've got that other little sheet of leaf color. But I have to do 4 of those because I'm doing 2 leaves, so I need 4 underneaths. Then, let's see what else. This one goes with this purple flower. So how about that into maybe the pink tones? Just because I want it to be different. If I put it purple on purple, it would be pretty. But if I did it purple with pink on top, that would be visible. So is this driving you crazy, or are you loving this? Then this one goes with this. How about bright yellow? Bright daffodil delight. Bright daisy delight. These are daisies. I could go with that one. And then the big one is in Bubble Bath to Fuchsia. So how about this one? Maybe be in the warmer tones. And sometimes I think it'll still be visible. Okay, so when you look at, this is the medium layer in the soft light pinks, this is the top layer in the darker colors. So see how each of them are just a little bit different? This one would be real pretty. Okay, and then can't forget we need one for the inside, which we'll do in just a minute. Then, do you notice how there's a little bit of black right back behind the flower? We'll need to cut that too. And I have pieces here ready to roll. But there's 2 dies to cut, but it doesn't really fit. It goes over the edges, so we're just going to cut with black paper, and I'll show you that in just a minute. Okay, let's get these cut. And then we can start assembling some flowers. So there's one. So see how they're different? 2, 3. So now that you're looking at these, when you do your watercoloring, do you want to do it really vibrant, or do you want to do it vibrant and soft? Like this one went from yellow to petal pink. And then along, same with the leaves. I think I did too many. Oh well. Okay, you could do 3. So looking at these, I think That's too matchy-matchy. These. Okay. So, should have punched these out sooner. Sorry about having you wait, but we need the black to show through there. And I could have used my blending brush or my dye brush to get these little pieces out, but it doesn't work too good on this paper. I don't know why. Okay, and then because this middle layer was part of the big die, I have little bits that need to be trimmed, and that's really easy to do, and still keep the pretty shape of the flower. Okay, and then this one is ready. Okay, so let's do these. Glue dots. Running low on glue dots. This project I have been through a lot of glue dots. So I'm using glue dots, as I did I think with almost all the other cards, because putting a tiny dimensional on the back here would be really challenging. And if I take a glue dot, fold it in half, and fold it in half again, it creates a little thickness, a little depth to it, which makes for a very pretty daisy. If it was just flat on flat with liquid glue, that isn't as pretty as this. This creates shadows and just turns out good. Maybe one more. So I'm folding it in half and half, and the goal is to get the glue dot balled up and is thick and, like, you know, if you see a bear coming, make yourself big. We're trying to make those glue dots big. Then lining it up, there's this little slit right here. If you find that same slit in the next level, the top level, this yellow level, it makes it easy to line up. So there is one flower almost done. Almost. Let's do the same with this one. Trim off these little excess bits. And clear out the center parts. So we're just going to cut paper, black paper, to fit behind these little dots. And it doesn't have to be perfect. But just so the dots show up. And we'll do that after we get these 3 flowers done. So first I planned on doing all just the one, this little daisy, a whole bunch, like a whole bouquet of them. And things went a different direction. Things went this direction. Isn't that funny? Sometimes you have one plan in your head and then you end up doing something very different. So another thing I've noticed is last night when I was making the sample, the paper was still just a little bit wet, like this one is. It's hard to put glue dots on the back of something that's a little bit wet. Paper that's dried overnight, no problem. It acts just like regular paper. Isn't that pretty? That vibrant grape. Grape is now a regal. Grape used to be a bright. I always think it's interesting when they change the color families around. Pumpkin pie used to be a regal, and now it's a bright. So grape was a bright, now it's a regal. But it works. Like this could definitely be a regal. Maybe because of the coronation on Saturday. People are just feeling in the regal mode and it went to regals. Okay, 2 probably would do it, but 3 will really do it. Okay, so we have 2/3 of the flowers ready. Aren't those pretty? I was like, that's a lot of work for 3 little flowers. But let's do the leaves. Take out the center part. And these I'm just going to glue. They'll take a minute to dry. Blueberry is, pretty sure that's a regal. New color. Could you imagine doing your bouquet in all the different blues? That would be pretty, with the new boho, with balmy in there, with blueberry. That would be pretty. Maybe you could drift to the, like the peacock and the Lost Lagoon colors. Then what color would you do the leaves? Would you do them in like garden green? Or would you go crazy with the brights, like lemon lime twist and granny apple? And you could have some soft blues in there and then some really strong. Oh, that would be pretty. Or some people like purple. There's so many purples. You could do the bubble bath to freesia. Yeah. What color do you want in your bouquet? So when putting these leaves together, see how it's nice that there's the darker color underneath? So when you're cutting them out, if you just have that big old sheet of watercolor paper with watercolor mess all over it, Rainbow Beautiful mess. The dog is snoring. I'm like, what is that? But that was like a big snore from him. He can sleep like all day. He's so funny. Lately we've been calling him the 4-year-old because after dinner, and some of these words I can't say them very loud, he likes to have his greenie, his toothbrush, we call it, because you know you have to say stuff ain't like, so he doesn't understand. Then he likes for us to take him to the wilderness, which just means in the yard. And he likes to do his business, but he likes to have company. And then, after that, he is just like persistent and nudging and like behind me going, And what he wants is to be tucked in. And so I ask him, do you want a hug? And so he goes over to the couch and he stands there because he wants to be, I don't know what he wants. Like, come on, come on. And then he wants to be hugged. And then he's out for the night. But until that point, he is a pain in the behind. So we've been calling him the 4-year-old that has to go to bed at 7. And he's still sleeping. And it is 7:15. Like he's over there snoring, sleeping. Dog stories. That's what happens when the kids leave home. They get a critter and they're everything. Okay, probably shouldn't put that up too soon. Okay, so let's put a little bit of black back behind. I'll show you why. Back behind the flowers. So it's fine with the white on it. But when you put the black on it, see in the center, the little dots? When you put the black on it, look how it comes together with the bow, the stems, and this stuff. So, where's that strip? And this is really high tech. And Stampin' Up! Does have the 2 dies, which this one goes on here. Ooh, that's kind of pretty. That could be like those Susan daisies. Oh, that's pretty. But when you put it back here, see how it stretches out besides the edges? So that's too big. I could put it on there and just trim it, because I'm just about to throw it away. I could use that. Okay, that one's good. That worked out pretty well, holding it there so I know what to cut off. You can see it's not real precise at all. And you could trim more. Oop, too big. Okay. And one more. Well, we have the inside too. So Debbie sent a message. She just hasn't had her mojo. Debbie, pull out some watercolor paper, get this bundle, and it will bring your mojo. You know, sometimes it's like that. You just, I don't know. It's hard. I find that after I try a stamp set and I'm all excited about it, and then I try it and it doesn't turn out like I planned, then it's like I'm mad at my room, my stamp room. My mojo is gone. But you just gotta try. Sometimes making a stamp, using a stamp set from the catalog, and you doing it just how they did it, the design, and it might not exactly be your thing. This, I think I had to trim it some more. But just then you know, I was like, no, that's not mine, but I could do this and I could do that to make it more your style. Okay, and the flower, yes, it's full of glue, but that's going to dry clear. So we'll be good here in a minute or two. So maybe I should keep them in the position that I cut them in, because you don't need too much glue. It's going to be sandwiched in the middle of the second and third layer. Well, that was easier. Just kind of shift it down, stay in place. Just a little bit of glue. Okay, so I'm going to let those dry. And here's one more thing. The flower inside the card. Since we're on a roll, I know this video is taking too long, but there's lots of things to do. Glue dots. Roll it in half. So if you're on Facebook or Instagram, and did you see my post about my new Stamp and Storage blends holder? Came yesterday. That's probably why I didn't get this video done till last night, or this project, the sample, because my blends case came, and I've always got them in natural. This time I got it painted, which costs just a smidge bit more. But then I had to bling it. And it is sitting here, right next to me, all blinged. If it wasn't loaded with markers, I would show you. But it's, oh, I know what I can do. This video is way too long. Look at this that Terry made. It's a little holder for my markers. this is the new one. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? So it's bling the whole way. Yeah. So this is the second one. I have one right here to my right. Well, that was off tangent. Okay, so a little bit back behind the flower, and we're caught up with the inside. The inside of the card. Okay, that's good. That's inside. Oh, the leaves too. The leaves that are done go to the outside. Okay, then we're just going to start assembling it. It's new catalog day. Okay, that's for the outside. So let's get to building. I think we're done with glue for a few minutes. Much easier when the watercolor paper is dry. The TV came back on. That means I've been going way too long. Going fast. Uh-oh, running out of glue dots. But I have more. Okay, so if you're making this project, it is so much easier when the watercolor paper is dry. Because I was struggling with those glue dots. It was pulling up the paper, doing all kinds of stuff. Just one more, and that's inside. Uh-oh. Hold on. Need more. So yesterday, you know how Kathy and David moved here, and they built their house, and they moved in, it's been a little bit more than a week, and they had 2 Connex boxes delivered here. They're huge, huge. But yesterday, they had them removed. The guy came with his big flatbed truck. Amazing how he can maneuver that thing. Yay! But that was the excitement for Bo and I yesterday, was leaving the gate. We had to disengage it just so, and it was bungee cord closed. He came in, big old truck, but then got up into the driveway, but he had to back right up next to the Connex boxes. That took a whole bunch of, and I thought, I don't know how he's going to do it. but it probably took him 10, 12 and he got it just like that without going off the driveway or anything. And there was 2 of them, so he did one, came back about 45 minutes later and got the other one. Okay, so inside is done too. This is inside. Okay, I think it's time to start assembling. Thank you, glue dots. Okay, that's inside. Maybe we should just do inside. So this will go on. And it is kind of popped up from all those glue dots. A little bit of an angle. And do you notice that the black is showing through the center of the flowers? So the glue dried. Well, those colors are very similar, but you could still see it's leaves. And I put glue just at the bottom of these, and I've been doing this lately. A little dimensional on the end. Just because the flower is so popped up, the card is going to be popped open anyhow. Okay, so that's good. So now for these, let's put this one kind of leaning over here. This one here. The purple one there. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, I know it's a little wild, but somehow, hey, it's watercolor. I'm an artist. I would love to be an artist. Okay, so I'm putting just one dimensional on at this point because I still need to tuck lots of little things under. And I like this little leaf right here. Oh, upside down. It's almost out. Nope, I lost that little leaf. I covered it up. Okay, so little leaves are on. So now it's time for this delicate little fern leaf. Ooh, let's put the glue dot. Glue dot the bow on. Okay, so these go on with glue just at the bottom. Because see how they're kind of a little bit elevated over the, I think I'm doing this one on the wrong side, but that's okay. The TV is loud. Not saying someone's losing their hearing or anything. I didn't say that. Okay, looking good. And now the hello. The hello is going to be partially on the flower, and the other half will not be on the flower. Because of all those glue dots, I put too many dimensionals on there. And a bit of glue. And because there's the black fern, it will perfectly outline the hello. Okay, Now let's supplement these little flowers because they only have one dimensional on them. And on the end of the leaves, so what do you think of this project? If you're still watching it, you probably like it. But colors are a little crazy. Colors are a bit unpredictable. But I'm loving how this turned out. So pretty. Just a little bit more, and then we need to add the iridescent pearls. So just imagine putting more color on with those other, the coordinating embellishments, the colored gems. I think that would be distracting from this, where the iridescent pearls, it picks up many of the pastel colors that are in the watercoloring. Okay, so let's put on 5. I'll do 3 big. I think the coffee's setting in. I'm a little shaky. I did take a big sip there though. One more. Okay, we did it. We did it. Might have taken too long, but look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? Yeah, I encourage you all to do it. And if you do, send me a photo. I would love to see it to jillybling.com or jillybling@yahoo.com. I would love to see that. I would love to see your colors and your final product. And even if you don't have this die set, whatever flowers you have, it's beautiful. Okay, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Thanks.